Everything that you could ever need to know about the show, it's in the show notes. Everything that you could ever need to know about the show, it's in the show notes. So go on over to Grimerica.ca or Grimerica.com.
If he go to sleep and dreams in his right arm, he will enter into a dream that is more real than our reality. That's the way he described them.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica Show. We are going to be chatting with Alan Stivelman a little bit later about his new show, Witness of Another World. Fun chat. There's a good synchro in there, if I remember correctly, and comes back to being a better person at some point, if I remember correctly. And yeah, just all around good chat. And I think Truffaut is going to show up at any minute. And we got everybody's favorite podcaster here, Graham Dunlop, with his tight shirt. How's it going, buddy? Welcome to...
Shirt's not tight, the boobs are bigger.
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to go there, but you went right there. What do you think's going on?
Well fitted.
That's this, right? You're ripped.
That's the problem when you gain weight. I don't think you lose it out of your boobs. I think so. The more I gain, I'll never get back. I'll never get back the muscular pecs.
How many push-ups you doing?
None.
Wow.
I'll start with it.
You could turn those boobs into pecs with just some push-ups. Get them ready for CAC at least.
That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't.
For all the new people listening that came aboard, CAC is contacted the cabinets are.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that part.
And this is where we just ramble on a little bit before the awesome interview starts in about 30 or 45 minutes. Check the show notes for the timestamp. There might even be a fast forward button on some of these podcast players.
Every once in a while.
Darren remembers to put it in. I used to put a reminder in there in the show notes for him, but
you know what? When it stopped supporting it on Overcast, I stopped doing it.
There you go. This is one of those amazing interviews where we didn't really know what to expect besides a great, talk about a movie, The Witness of Another World, which is about this guy who 40 years after Jacques Vallee saw him, I think it was 40 something years when he had this encounter as a teenager. He went back and saw him as an older fellow, and it's pretty emotional, but it turned into an awesome episode about what Darren was saying, improving yourself and love and synchronicity and just helping people. And yeah, it was fantastic chat. I think he was from Spain or somewhere across the pond there.
Yeah, it was Singapore, Spain. Yeah, Spain. It was Spain.
Not Singapore.
Is Singapore by Spain?
That's a little further away.
Singapore's over in Asia someplace, right?
Yeah.
Man, we got to go on a tour.
Near Thailand.
Figure out where all these countries are. America World Tour, baby.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be all right.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, one day.
Love traveling. Get itchy feet.
I got itchy feet right now.
Yeah.
I got to go someplace. I don't know where. I got no place to go. I might just go to the mountains for a weekend.
Good. That'd be good enough.
Go to the mountains, get an Airbnb, and get the fuck out of town. Yeah. So, how you been?
I got good. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Got lots of stuff here. Lots of interesting things. Oh, man, so much is going on in the world right now. Don't even know what to talk about. Really? Alberta wants to separate after that election. We didn't really talk about that. We didn't really talk about the post-election thing, but Michael's here. We can get him on the mic too. Then he might help out in the conversation.
He's slinking around like he doesn't want to be on the mic. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've been sort of oblivious to all that. I did my vote. And that was it. Everyone yelled at me. That was it. Well, just a couple people yelled at me. Yeah. And
did you tweet that?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
I got support from our community. It was just people in my real life that called me an idiot.
Really?
Yeah. But other than that, I've been pretty oblivious to whatever's happening. I did talk to a friend of the show, John Brisson, for a few minutes the other day, and he was mentioning some Finder stuff came out that helps out his case. So he was excited about that.
In what way does it help out his case?
Doesn't that all go back to the Satanic Panic?
Yeah, maybe.
I think somehow it ties into that. So, I'm not up to speed on all that, but he was saying he was getting a lot of hits because of it. So
yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Johnny B, friend of the show, John Brisson. Of course, I touch base with him every once in a while just to See where I'm at.
Did you guys talk about Canada politics at all or anything? Or?
No, I only talked to John about. He's like my health mentor in a sense, I guess. Whenever I've got anything, or he'll touch
What you
his
got going on?
Nothing really. He touched base with me just to see where I'm at, how I'm feeling, make sure I'm not. I've been letting it. The milk gets me, man. I've decided I'll never give up butter. On butter. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping cheese. Fuck it. Life's too short. I'm not stopping cheese.
Well, who says those are bad anyways? I mean, this is...
Well, I was trying... I'm really starting to notice something between my histamine levels and dairy. But the problem is I can't quit drinking fucking milk long enough to see if just milk will do it. And it's not even just drinking the milk. It's the lattes.
Wow.
I love those lattes so much. And every one of those is like 2 cups of milk, cup and a half of milk. And then I stopped buying milk, but then the kids want milk. So then there's milk in the fridge, and then I'm all stoned up. I open the fridge, it's pounding back the milk. So I think if I could get like the milk out, I guess, then I might be able to adjust and get off because I'm back on the pills, right? I'd like to get off the pills.
What pills?
The
allergy pills?
The allergy pills, yeah. So even like just being off gluten 100% doesn't do it. It's got to be
gluten and dairy.
It might not even be gluten. Gluten might not be causing the allergy problem. The gluten thing, I just because how I feel and get my little gut. I don't want boobs. So gluten is just a choice, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's an allergy thing or a choice, but I know that after being off gluten for like a year, I'm really not in any hurry to get back on it. Because when I do eat some buns or something like that, like that's where I fail sometimes. Is like I'll be around some pizza, or I'll be around I'll be hungry and I'll just get a burger. And if I get a burger now, I'm not doing the bun because I do fast food so rarely. I'm not doing the lettuce wrap. It's just like if I'm going fast food, I'm going to feel like shit anyway. We're going to go buns in.
Yeah.
But I noticed, man, my aches and pains start to come back, a little lower back pain, just all my trigger spots. All my trigger spots slowly come back as soon as I have a little bit of bread in my diet.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll give it up for is little pancakes here and there. You know what? It's worth.
Oh no, the Grimerica gluten-free pancakes are fantastic,
dude.
They're better than any gluten pancakes, and they're gluten-free.
You still haven't tried my pancakes, okay? When you try my pancakes,
I have tried your pancakes.
They're more like a crepe.
I have tried your pancakes. You made them for me,
but I made them gluten-free. The wheat just holds them together so much better. It's just like, then you can roll them up with the stuff inside. It's just so good.
For the most part, it's the glyphosate. Because before they harvest, they spray again with glyphosate to kill off all the broadleaf.
Oh no, the snake bros.
Our friends down south don't believe that.
And then it doesn't rinse out, and then they harvest it, and so a lot of the just processed wheat. If you're not getting organic bread, then you're getting a lot more glyphosate than the organic bread. So I would say just switch to that if you really have to have the wheat, because it is an addiction. They have a really hard time wrapping their head around.
It's the flour, I guess.
Like when you tell somebody, they're like, everything I eat is bread, is wheat, has gluten. Like,
hobbling around.
And they go crazy. They go crazy and berate their servers because there might be a pinch of flour in the entire meal because it's got a really good gravy on on an elk roast or something.
Yeah, we got to get you on with the Snake Bros, man. I said that to the Snake Bros. Those glypho shows.
No, because I think it's up here they do that more maybe than down there. Because I saw a big road sign. I took a picture of it. It said "Stop spraying." This was like a big billboard on the way to Saskatchewan. It said "Stop spraying after or before harvest."
Oh, really?
I'm like, I'm going to take that for the Snake Bros who just deny that that's even a thing. They thought that was all fake news. And I'm like, well, maybe down there you don't. But
you can just get it. Yeah, but you got to watch because there was a chemtrail billboard on the way to Banff for a long time, too.
That's right. That's
but
good.
I mean, I would like to get, is that a Canada thing? I don't remember the Snake Bros argument, but I remember they got real defensive.
I think it's just everywhere. It's not how you do it, because before you harvest, you want all the broadleaf to die and fall down to the ground. And then you harvest at a certain height. So you don't want all those weeds grown up in that. You want all that stuff to have died and fallen down.
Russ and Kyle
is industry wide, as far as what I know.
Russ and Kyle are yelling at the radio right now.
No, they don't think. I forwarded them that MIT scientist who was deconstructing the glyphosate problem, and because I mean, there's still everybody's denying that it's even a problem. I mean, the science,
of course,
the science is definitely not settled. There's a lot of pushback from
whatever it is. I feel better being off wheat.
Yeah.
100%.
What about Cobb's, like, who makes this fresh bread and stuff? It's like a local, like.
You know what's funny is that I'm talking.
Well, because there's one in.
No, I'm sure that's
near
bleached,
you.
enriched. It's not organic.
No. But isn't it better because it's got less ingredients? Like,
you got to get that organic flour and make your own fucking bread. That's it. It's still not the same.
What about Cobb's? You don't think they have organic flour? They don't. They don't.
No, they don't. I already went there.
How far you want to go? For the most part, you should only be eating grass-fed butter too.
I do grass-fed butter most of the time, unless I'm feeling cheap. Once in a while, I'm feeling cheap and just like, ooh, fuck it.
Yeah, the grass-fed butter's hard to find here, and like
they have it at Safeway. It's just it's like $7 a half pound.
Yeah.
Well, normal butter is that expensive.
Yeah, butter's not cheap for sure.
It's about twice as much.
But it is better for you. It's the best of all
I
the
noticed the
options,
difference. I noticed the huge difference. Like you open the butter, it's a different fucking color. That grass-fed stuff. It's like a huge difference.
So you're kind of one that always thinks that.
I was gonna say but remember, because it's funny because I'm having conversations with you about maybe contemplating having a drink of wine here and there, but I won't even comprehend fucking having weed again. There's like, I could never get back on that. Never.
See, I worked in restaurants.
It was so hard to get off.
I thought I was dying. My abdomen hurt so bad, like all the time, and then it got really acute sometimes. And this was in like 2002 probably. And a friend of mine told me about the eat for your blood type diet thing.
Yeah.
And so
I never heard of that.
And I followed that, which I don't know that I fully believe in it, but I changed my diet from just being a opportunivore, eating whatever I could, because I worked in restaurants, that's what you do. And so I switched to being careful about what I was eating, and everyone stopped eating wheat and tried to eliminate wheat and gluten from my diet.
That would have been hard in 2002.
It was really hard. Nobody had even
my sister was on. My sister was on to back then. Yeah.
And I told my dad, and he didn't believe me at all. So he said, I was celiac, and that didn't really make sense from when I would read it either. But I was just eating too much of that junk stuff. And I think the gluten does cause problems because it is like flour and water is sticky inside you. Like you said, your joints hurt less when you're not eating as much bread.
Poop is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're full of glue. And then I think back to that in high school or back in public school, making glue with flour and water and doing paper mache. And I'm like, I'm just eating this shit like crazy.
And you're 90% water.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, what's in the recipe? Water, fucking flour.
Yeah, so that does kind of make sense. And whole grains make you feel a little bit better, I noticed. But then by the time the whole gluten movement came around, I was already had healed my gut and was back to eating gluten in just small portions, but being more conscious
instead of just having
the
it as a base for
pesticides,
everything too.
Being more conscious of the pesticides, eating more organic.
Yeah.
Not just eating whatever is out there,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I felt a lot better. So gluten is a place to start, but I think glyphosate is the problem. And it's probably damn near illegal to say that currently.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
well, the glyphosate's on the gluten, so fuck it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, nowadays, it's super easy to be gluten free. Every place I go, it's like I can get anything gluten free. Totally. Even the difference in like 2 years, it's like every place I go, it hasn't hung me up in a while. The only time I hang up is when I leave this studio and it's 10 o'clock at night, and the only thing that's open are those fast food restaurants on the way home, and that's like, bam, go get a burger.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm glad we don't have Carl's Jr. here because
we do.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, man.
No,
that was one of my last fucking fails. Was a Carl's Jr.
No.
And it was delicious.
Oh my god,
I got that. I got the burger and those crazy jalapeno poppers. I don't even know where the jalapeno is in there. It just seems like cheese and bread to me, but it's delicious.
I'd get off work and find myself driving by there like late at night, just like. And as soon as I decide that I'm going to have it, I can feel myself get fatter. Like I can feel all of my body takes all of the toxins and buries it into fat cells. And I can feel myself plump up a little bit. And then I go through the drive-through and like cry while I'm eating it because I'm addicted to it,
Yeah, you know what gets
me?
It was
horrible.
McChicken. Oh.
All right, enough about the fast
I got
food.
raised on McChickens. God. Thanks, Mom. So now that's like just a thing. I'll go by.
What about the McRibs? No,
no.
The McDLT, the cool side cool and the hot side hot. That was the best.
The McChicken gets me, man. I'll see those golden arches. It's just like, yeah, you know.
I don't know if you remember, but McDonald's and all that used to be fried in lard, and it was way better. And then they switched to this vegetable oil, hydrogenated junk that tastes kind of like chalky. If you remember the lard fried McDonald's fries, they were amazing. And when they switched, I totally everybody quit.
We might have never had that in Canada.
Maybe. Yeah, but you guys were like I was working at McDonald's in '85.
Really? This is where the lard comes from.
4. But I remember you know what? I remember having like my 4th or 5th birthday at McDonald's.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing back then.
Stacking up the empty boxes for the Big Macs. They'd bring that over. That was like one of the games. You were probably running that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. No wonder I'm addicted to Big Mac. You know what? I can quit cigarettes. I can quit booze. I can quit cocaine, but I can't quit fucking McChickens.
You know, the Candida cleanse, whether Candida is real or not, it did kick a lot of those addictions. Like for soda and fast food, now I don't even see them anymore. Before it used to be this beacon that would draw me toward it. And now they don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't touch soda.
And that's the only thing that changed, really.
I do my fast food burger probably like once a month or 2.
That's nothing. That's fine.
Yeah,
that is fine. I'm active enough, but it's, still, if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't feel like shit for a day and a half after.
I do feel horrible after I eat the fast food. Your heart starts racing.
And it doesn't take long either.
It's all the excitotoxin.
It's like an hour and a half later and you're already starting to
And then you start to feel sick because you ate way too much. And then, if you need to drive directly home because you might pass out at any moment.
Or shit yourself.
My problem is I want to eat more of it. Like there's a once I eat it, I do want to just keep going.
The salty and the sweet kind of at the same time.
Yeah. The bliss point and the mouthfeel. So is it illegal to ruin your vote?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's illegal to spoil your ballot.
I don't care. I'll take.
We didn't really talk about that much. There's a big vote. Are you? It's really interesting.
There's no chance they're going to throw me in jail over it. So knock on wood.
Well, you can just go to the res and hide, right?
I can go to the reservation. I can do that, but I mean, there's no way they're throwing an Indian in jail for fucking not voting because it's a political
PR nightmare.
Yeah, like come on, man, nobody's doing that. I'll just be, especially I got this platform to be like, I'll be in jail, and ground be like, they fucking took Darren to jail, and that'll be it.
Because he called him a fascist.
Trudeau's gonna.
He can't even call him a fascist anymore.
That might be all right. Maybe I'll get an apology from Trudeau. No, he don't apologize.
There you go.
You don't need to apologize.
He apologizes for his own behavior. I'm sure he'd apologize.
Think so?
Yeah.
For getting me arrested?
Yeah.
Calling him a fascist?
Yeah. They're all fascist.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. Canada's really divided. It really is. I know it's always been like this, but this year it seemed to be worse with all the colors on the map and just like the West. Like, how does the West, I don't understand how the West voted more of a popular vote from the West, even though there's all that population in the East voting for the Liberals.
Oh, because every single person in the West voted.
But there doesn't seem to be that much people. There's only 5 million people in Alberta.
Is there 5? I thought it was like 4.5.
Well, 5 rounding up.
But there's like 11 or 12. Isn't there 12 in BC? Isn't there 12 million in BC?
The Conservatives got more. So, but Alberta. Have you heard about the separation? Like, there's a lot of like stirring about Alberta. Yeah, like the Wexit.
It comes up every couple of years.
Yeah, you can't do
that. There's
like
they've had that big bill.
You can.
No, you can't.
Fucking get out of here.
There's zero chance for separating them.
They can try. I mean, they can try.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I say. If they let anyone fucking succeed from the union, I'll eat my DMT hat.
Look, give New Mexico and Arizona and California to Mexico.
I just got this today.
And take Oregon and Washington and incorporate them into Canada.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And give Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and Manitoba.
And it's up to Manitoba if they decide.
Yeah. What about the fucking
California's got to go to Canada?
You're not just giving away fucking Indian land, you fucks. That's not how it
works.
The
Indian land's all is its own thing anyway.
Okay.
So it doesn't
matter.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
Know if Canada's system is that much better than the U.S. though.
You know
why can't people start?
I think they should just give Alberta to the Indians. You guys can stay. We like you. You're good people, but we just get it. We're gonna run the place for a while.
Yeah. See what happens.
What?
See what happens.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't think they'd even want it.
No, we don't want.
But don't you think
We'll
that
take BC.
it's almost at the point now where
I don't speak for the Indians. I definitely don't speak for them.
Yeah.
I'm just an Indian that speaks.
I feel like it's at the point now though where all these the political divide is so strong that people might as well try and have their own type of political country, like their own environment.
I'm telling you, we're better off going to the States and starting a cult, getting some sort of religious exemption so we can get a bunch of land and have our own laws.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going back to the reservation.
You thought about that? Yeah.
It's crossed my mind. It's just fucking, if shit starts getting crazy, I might just be
Can you bring the studio there, and then can I go on there? Like am I allowed on there if you invite me?
Well, I'd run for chief.
You'd run for
As
chief.
long as you're with them, you're okay.
As if they're going to allow like a guy just to come in, like you haven't even been on the reservation, you just show up.
I don't know.
Some podcaster shows up and he wants to become chief. They'll laugh you out of the community.
The old man ran for chief.
Really?
I laughed him out of the community. I might have a shot.
Did he really?
There's only there's only like 1,600 of us total. And then, only like
1,600
few
where?
hundred of those are on the res. So
Ojibways or?
Mishkigogaming. There's way more Ojibways. Then the Ojibways are part of Mishkigogaming is my sect of the Ojibways. That's my actual band. Then the Ojibways are part of the Anishinaabe, which is another 5 of those.
And so your little band is 1,600?
Yeah.
How many where we live in Calgary here?
And I think, so there's like 500 on reserve and 1,600 off.
Wow. How do they separate the bands? How does it differ?
I think it just goes by
lineage.
It goes by land.
Where it was?
Yeah, it's geographical. So let me see.
Weren't they nomadic for a while? How does that work?
I don't know. It doesn't.
Crossing over boundaries all the time, and
it's just where they crammed us. It's where so it's based on where they crammed us, probably.
Well, that's kind of how some names.
Or where we were when they stopped us from being nomadic.
Well, a lot of people when they came over from Europe, they got to Liberty Island or whatever. And if the person didn't understand what they were saying, they wrote whatever down. They thought, "Here's your new name. Welcome to America." This is.
That's why it's called Canada, because they were saying "welcome," which is Kanata.
He said, "Oh, yeah,
that works." Give us the keys.
Look, guys, it's Kanata.
Well, that's why we say A all the time, right?
The Anishinaabe.
Canada.
The Anishinaabe is the Ottawa, the Saulteaux, the Ojibwe, the Mississaugas, the Potawatomi, the Oji-Cree, and the Algonquin.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you added all those up, I'm sure there's
10,000, 20,000, something like that.
I'd like to hope more than that. Yeah. I was going to say like maybe 1 million. That'd be nice to have a little chunk, but it's probably way less than that. Yeah. It's probably, how many, I wonder.
A couple 100,000, I would say.
I would say, yeah, even less than that, because there's only 35 million Canadians, and like what percentage of the population of Canada is Indian?
1 or 2, maybe.
Yeah, so you're talking about like maybe 3-4 million. No, you're talking about like 1 million total if you're lucky.
The number keeps dropping, like rapidly.
Yeah, let's change the subject.
Yeah.
But I will be chief. And I will allow you on my land so that we can podcast for freedom.
Perfect. We've got so much to talk about. So we could turn this intro into an app, really.
But you're going to have to convert.
What do you convert to?
I don't know. We'll find something.
I picked out some quotes. I picked out some quotes today, not for the episode that's attached to this intro, but for the what do you call it when you sign the petition that went around about the fluoride? Is there a new movement to put fluoride back in the water in Calgary? Like, what is happening to our culture here?
Well, they have a bunch of fluoride and they don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
Well, there's a group that believes it's
helping kids' teeth, even though they're not looking at the right data.
Or whatever.
What if we're not looking at the right data?
My buddy was telling me that...
that's the argument I was having with Raj in the chats the other day, is because, I think about that sometimes. Maybe we're wrong about everything.
Yeah. Of course, we're wrong about some stuff, but I just don't believe that you should be throwing chemicals in the water.
In the long run, we'll be wrong about everything.
You shouldn't be putting
anything in the water. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Just don't dump shit in the water. Like, that's not a good idea. Except, what do you do when you're drinking all the water and you're pissing and shitting in, and it's all going back into that water, and it's like...
No, but it's not used. It's not in there to clean the water, though.
No, I know it's not.
That's the thing. If it was in there...
But you have to add chemicals for that.
The fluoride... No, not the fluoride. The chlorine. The chloride. I think it's the chloride is in there, which cleans it. Like you can smell it in your tap. Yeah. That's fine. We take some chemicals, yes, to clean the water. Fine.
But that probably shouldn't be in there.
Fluoride doesn't have to go in there.
I don't know.
For people's teeth.
Is a really good... Thyroid function means you're healthy if it's a healthy producing thyroid. And so then you start getting, see people get the gout and all sorts of circulation problems and
from
overall health because it needs to be full of iodide. And instead you have chloride and fluoride in the water, which is then filling your thyroid, leading to all sorts of thyroid problems.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, like we've got the fluoride out in Calgary, thank God, because I mean, I think Edmonton still got it in. I think there's a lot of places
higher
that
than
still
it's supposed to be here anyway, so they shouldn't really be.
The sad irony here is that the FDA, which does not regulate fluoride in drinking water, does regulate toothpaste. The back of a tube of fluoridated toothpaste, it must state that if your child swallows more than the recommended amount, contact the Poison Control Center.
Which is like a pea size.
There's no question that fluoride, not an excessive amount, can cause serious harm. Who's that from? That's okay. We won't get him.
I got nothing.
You want to guess? Paul Connett. The case against fluoride. How hazardous waste ended up in our drinking water and the bad science and powerful politics that keep it there. I got another one.
So those are probably the people, the bad science and the powerful people that keep it there. Those are the ones who are probably trying to get it back into the Calgary spot.
Yeah, exactly. The citizens across the country were outraged that this rat poison was going to be added to the water supplies. Today, the fluoride that goes in our drinking water is almost exclusively raw industrial pollution from the Florida phosphate industry. It's a waste that's scrubbed from the smokestacks and trucked in tankers and dumped into reservoirs. That is a raw industrial poison. Sodium fluoride is used as a rat poison for a long time. That's Christopher Bryson, an investigative reporter. One more?
Sure.
Why not?
New research shows that a strong correlation between water fluoridation and the prevalence of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, in the United States. It's the first time that scientists have systematically studied the relationship between the behavioral disorder and fluoridation, the process wherein fluoride is added to water to prevent cavities. That was Shannon Stapleton, a journalist from Reuters.
It was the first time they studied it?
Yeah.
How long have they been dumping it in before they studied it?
Well, I mean, Hitler was using it and them to do...
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is they were studying it in the 30s, I thought.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. I mean, I haven't looked into the documentation because my buddy Ryan and I were talking about this because the thing that his friends show him is this graph that shows cavities increasing, but they don't show that the beginning of that graph, how it was always going up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They just take a sample from 2007 and then a sample from 2018 and they show the rise. Well, it's always on that trajectory.
That's how you work a graph, yeah.
Yeah.
As we dump more and more.
The graph, exactly.
As we dump more and more sugar into the diet.
High fructose corn syrup.
Totally.
And
couldn't be related.
Yeah.
Couldn't be that, you know.
Simple carbs that turn into sugar.
It's just the propaganda is so thick.
It's all propaganda. It's all fake. It's all propaganda. See, once you reach my level, it's almost like a Zen because it's just like, it's all propaganda.
Your
it's
level?
all fake.
You've leveled up recently or something?
Or leveled down. Maybe leveled down.
He's got the DMT hat on.
He's got a DMT hat on.
Maybe I've just given up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Blissfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you do kind of have to just let it go. And every time someone's like telling you their horrible day, like I had this one friend, she's like, I had this horrible day. I got a flat tire and then I got a ticket and then I got this. And I was just laughing. I was just giggling and laughing. She's like, I can't believe you're laughing. I don't know. What are you supposed to do? I'm not the kind of person who would cry with you, you know?
I'm not laughing at you.
No, it's
laughing
just,
with you.
Well, it was funny, the series of events, if you looked at it the right way. I don't know.
The funny way.
I'm not mean.
No, you're not mean.
You
just come off as mean.
I like to see the humor in all of it, I guess. The universe messing with you.
That's just it. All right, what we got?
Well,
So it's not that I've leveled up, it's that I've given up.
Right.
It's all fake.
Yeah. Well,
Except the Grimerica show.
I got an email here. I mean, I could read this. This would be interesting. Get your
what jingle?
It can lead into the support.
What jingle
stuff? So spamgram maybe or something, or
that's always
feedback.
We don't have a fucking feedback jingle.
Okay, I don't know.
And now another edition of the Grimerican Goodies by the people, for the people.
He said this doesn't need to be read in the show, but this will be interesting to get your guys' take on it. Anyways, hey, Darren and Graham, I've been a listener for about a year now. I found the show through Spotify, and that's where I typically listen. Best show I've found. I've donated via e-transfer, but I plan to sign up for the monthly to give a bit more security for you guys. Thank you very much. He doesn't want his name read, so just catch me if I start saying his name. Yeah. Until then,
Just don't say his name.
Until then, I'm sending another e-transfer. I love the recent DM trip report from Darren. Did I miss that? DMT trip report from Darren, as I haven't heard a report that seems so honest and shows the wide variety of perceptions on psychedelics. I've tried shrooms a few times, but haven't tried DMT. I've read books and listened to a lot of podcasts that talk about it, and I still have a feeling that it's too soon. Shrooms can be profound, but always leave me nervous for the next time, which bled into the DMT hesitancy.
I was super hesitant, like right up to still. I'm still super hesitant ever, that never goes away. So just so you know. Yeah,
we're going to be talking in about a half hour to a fellow that's done it like 600 times, and he still gets a little hesitant and nervous after.
It's going to be fun.
He says, I'll get there one day, though. I love the Enter the Mushroom episode, by the way. I started with the new episodes at the time, but after picking through personally interesting topics, I started through the back catalog and just listened to Atomic Rod Adams, number 124. I live in Toronto, so I'm constantly in traffic, so I keep up with the long intros and don't lose the F-bombs. Sorry, Graham. I have learned so much, and I love the value for value model. Some of my favorite guests, in no particular order, are Rizwan Verk, number 370, Del Bigtree, number 328, Jamie Janover, number 283, Joseph P. Farrell, number 270, Graham Nichols, number 197, and Joseph Emmett, number 108. Ooh. The range of guests and topics are awesome. I like that most things are on the table.
Joseph Emmett. What was that about?
I think it was probably a meditation one.
108 is
mindfulness,
a big one.
maybe.
Big important number.
That would be interesting to know which one that. Yeah. I think that's the mindfulness one. You can search it right now if you want while I'm reading.
Sure.
I recently heard the audiobook Your Brain on Porn. I would recommend it because of the range of importance for the future generations and helping the generation that grew up with dial-up or high-speed internet and VR in the future. You deal with the war on consciousness, and I think this subject, while taboo, would fit well and can change perception just by knowing the changes that happen in your body and brain when immersed in the current adult content that's at everyone's fingertips. At 5.5 hours for the whole audiobook, it seemed great. With that said, myself and others may not have such severe problems, but I'd say it's relatable on some level to most people. Keep up the great work. And that one was mindfulness, right?
Yeah.
Joseph,
this is a journey from brainfulness to mindfulness, from self-control to self-regulation, and from indifference to compassion.
Nice.
That's a good 108, right?
That's a perfect 108. Yep.
My advice, stay off the porn, probably. I don't know. Do what you want, but probably not a real... Find some healthy porn, maybe, at least. Make your own porn.
That would be the best.
That would be the best.
As long as
everyone's consented to making the porn.
And then put it on YouPorn. For other people to watch it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't.
Then you're falling into the whole trap.
You're falling into the trap. Next thing you know, you're just watching porn all the time, tugging it out, and it's just a slippery slope, which do exist. Scott Adams coming up in November. We're going to have the slippery slope debate.
Can't wait.
Among others.
So I got another one I kind of want to get off my chest.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I put a good...
Looks like you got a few things to get off your chest.
Besides weight.
Wait, let me do the voicemail while we're still in the segment.
Okay. All right.
I have not listened to it.
Enter your password. You have 1 unheard message and 3 saved messages. To check unheard messages, press 1. First unheard message.
Hi guys, it's Lee from the UK. Smudge2K in the Discord chat. just thought I'd drop a quick message, because it would probably cost me about fucking £5 a minute. Just say thanks for carrying on the show, loving the show. I grew up with mediumship in the family, always interested in ghosts and UFOs. But since finding the show, my awareness has massively opened. I am down the rabbit hole. My wife can't have a normal conversation with me anymore. So that's great. But keep up the good work. Love you all. Ciao.
Awesome.
End of message.
Thank you very much.
I didn't catch who that was in the chats.
I deleted it.
You didn't catch it either?
No.
Okay.
Leaf, I thought he said.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen back. Someone will catch it.
Yeah.
Let us know if you caught it.
Anyways, he's in the chats, which
He's
is
in
a
the
great
chats.
place.
Find
Discords.
him. The chats.
Yeah,
The chats
lots
have
of
been
interesting
filling
stuff
up
in there. I
lately.
cannot keep up on it.
Listen,
Obviously, it's like
you
crazy.
motherfuckers have got to take it easy on the noobs.
I quit reading it a long time ago. Like
The new-
all of it, trying to keep up.
Oh,
on
No,
it.
you can't keep
with it. You
up.
can't
I
keep
just
up
pop
with it.
in,
It's just-
fucking.
Somebody, I saw my own
spit
name in
some
there the other
shit
day.
out and-
I saw somebody had added me the other day, and he's like, "Is Graham paying attention to all this?" And it was like going back like hours
that's all he
with
does.
synchronicities and Ryans and all that. And I'm like, I can't. There's no. What I'd love to see out of Discord would be like a place where you could say
Folders and-
audio for like have it read to you all that. You know, Ryan from Kansas says, you know,
Does it do the little eyebrow raise too?
yeah.
You have no time
I'd
to start
love that.
listening. You don't
Audio-
need to be listening
audio
to
version
fucking
of Discord.
Discord
Just
chats.
turn Discord into audio.
No. I need to put my foot down.
Pick
You're
the
listening to
accent.
enough-
Pick the
no.
accent.
You're listening to enough fucked up audio that you don't need to be listening to the Discord chats. Honestly, you're just going to hear cuck all day.
Yeah, that was weird. I saw that a lot in there. Yeah. I'm like, what are these guys doing? What do you mean by taking it easy on the noobs? The new people that join
Oh,
in?
yeah. As soon as somebody comes in, it's just like, like someone the other day was like, I'll come back in a few days.
Yeah, they just hang back and I don't know. Do you go back and read it? It's got to be like 10,000 pages. Or
I don't know. I don't go back. As a rule, I don't go back. If people at me, I might go. I'll scroll through from where I am sometimes. Or if you at me, I usually just check the at maybe. But I can't go back. I'm too busy to be reading the chats. I mean,
yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, it's basically like this podcast.
It's a shit show.
If you think about this podcast and what you cover in like 2 hours, the Discord thing will cover like 10 times that.
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
amount of
It's
time.
fascinating.
And
Like
you've
there's
got all these
people are linking
that are,
great articles
that
and-
are amazing diggers, and so then they all just pile on with their thing, and it's hilarious. And
I'm just there for the
informative,
gifts.
And yeah,
the
Oh, there's a bot. There's
the
a gift
gifts-
off.
No,
There's
the
a
gift.
gift.
The gift boss. The gift bot sucks for one.
What?
I like
It's
the
not
cucks
that
one is
bad.
okay. It's not that bad, but who Zulu has some great gifts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm saving his gifts
he's
all
the
the time.
king for sure.
So those are the two best things.
Oh,
in gifts.
don't say. Oh my God, you're gonna piss off Ryan if you say.
Ryan's the meme king.
Oh, the meme.
The meme
oh,
king.
right.
Totally
Those are
different.
Oh, yeah.
Gift king is different.
Yeah,
Okay. So anyway, I love the gifts because
He's his own gift bot.
I'm a huge gift guy. So I'm saving these gifts and I'm looking like a gift superstar out there. And then
How do you save them in your phone? Just save them in your phone. Just click on
it's
it.
a
and
fucking
save the
production.
gift.
No, you got to open it up on the web page.
What?
And then save it from there. Otherwise, it just saves.
Well,
as
how
a
do you go
picture.
get all
Just
these things?
Google a weird phrase.
You just click it. You just hold on it, and then it'll open it up
Copy
on like
whatever
Discord dot blah blah blah
Oh,
dot whatever,
okay.
and then from there you can save it. Otherwise, it'll save as a screenshot of the GIF instead of the GIF.
Man, our
So
lives
that-
are so much suffering.
The other thing is, yeah, the GIFs are
How
great.
to save
Honestly,
GIFs.
I'm looking like a GIF superstar these days because of the chats. And the other thing they're great for is music.
Yeah.
Some of the best music in my life right now is music that I've picked up out of the chat rooms
Wow.
over the last year. Just people throwing stuff down, and I'll throw it in my Spotify, and it's just that's where I got
Well, there's all
Gunship.
these really smart misfits that have just treasure. They all have treasure troves.
Oh yeah. Grimerica.ca/chats. Get in the chats, motherfucker. Support the show. Grimerica.ca/support. That is equally, if not more important than getting in the chats, because without the support, we can't afford the chats. So we got some monthly options there. You can do Stripe, you can do Patreon, you can do PayPal. You can do a one-time donation. You'd send cash in books like Nicky the Dude. Actually, so here Nicky the Dude does monthly on 2 different platforms and sends
Wow.
cash in books.
Fantastic. Thanks,
He's like the
Nikki.
grandpa of the show.
Yeah.
You could just send gifts.
Yeah, some people send barracudas, all sorts of crazy shit, and skateboards. But anyway,
Well,
honestly,
we got to put the PO box back on the website. It's not there anymore.
that is false.
Nope, I
I'm
checked
on the
it.
website
No,
right
I
now.
checked it. Yeah.
Let's
okay.
go to the contact. Where's the
This is
contact
gonna be
page?
so fun. This
Where's
is gonna
the
be so.
contact page?
Oh, where's the contact?
Where'd the contact page go? Seriously. Huh.
Just try /contact. That'll get you there.
What?
Yeah.
And it's not on
since
there.
you can't actually find it on the main part of the page. I've done all this searching.
Why didn't you say something sooner?
Because I wanted to catch you on the show.
Oh,
yeah.
touche.
So do /contact. Okay, it'll take you to contact even though it's not there. Oh, look at that. That squishy little GIF at the top.
It used to have the address right over on this
it's
side.
not there anymore. So we will put the P.O. box back in the thing. That's why people keep asking.
That's why she had to
chat.
listen to the fucking jingle.
Yeah. Because I used to just tell people go to the contact.
Isn't it in the show notes?
It used to be there. How did it get out of there?
I don't know. The show notes is your problem.
The show notes links to that.
You find me a single set of shit. Oh.
Yeah. The show notes links to that. Yeah. Which apparently you thought was.
Oh, look, there's a phone
page.
number there, though.
Is that the right phone number for voicemails?
No, it says 8083 instead of 6083.
God. The phone number's been data entered wrong on the contact
I'll talk
page.
to the fucking web guy. I'll get all this cleared up. Grimerica.ca/support. Probably if we paid the web guy, he would be more quick to clear up these problems. Or we'd actually have a web guy that wasn't me half-assing it in my spare time or in the middle of the night. Grimerica.ca/support. What else you got?
Well, I got a thing I want to read about the history of
We're at 40
climate
minutes.
scares and all that.
All right, let's save that for next episode.
Okay, we'll save it for next time.
All right.
I'll give you a hint.
Ugh, I seen it.
Did you? 1966, oil gone in 10 years. 1967, dire famine forecast by 1975. You get the gist?
Yeah, oil is abiotic from the earth. It's a mineral.
1996, peak oil in 2020.
Yeah, that's because they want to keep selling us the oil at an increasing price. All right, next week, you're going to read the whole list before we can get there. All right, guys, big thanks to Truffaut for giving us the glyphosate. He's the glyphosate guy. If it is illegal, yes, he's the glypho guy.
Yeah, I want to hear Snake Brothers, what they think about that.
The debate.
I sent them the
All right,
whole
Snake
thing.
Bros, Glypho Shills
Big
versus
Ag.
Truffaut.
Big Ag, Snake Bros.
We're going to get Big Ag in the house.
Oh, cool.
And fucking Truffaut, and we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
I lean to your side, just so you know, Truffaut. They seem pretty big Aggie.
Yeah, they think glyphosate's natural.
You know what? We should get a Glypho Shill shirt for the
That's a good idea.
Redbubble show.
Big Ag glyphosate.
Yeah. Big Ag on the back, Glypho Shill on the front.
Nice.
I found someone to run the store.
What store?
Our store. So it's been like stagnant for about 18 months.
The Redbubble one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do stuff like that. Make, I think, the last shirt. Well, actually, we whipped up the water bottle shirt, the Truffaut water box shirt. And then we have the, what was the other one? Grimerican and Huscular were the last ones we added.
Well, we don't have to add stuff all the time. Just add, we should talk about there is our logo and stuff, and the swag is there, right? There's some
Be good to get
cool
some
shirts.
stuff going, some show
that's
notes.
True, yeah.
Or not show notes, episode art.
Yeah.
Tons of different options. Grimerica.ca/swag if you want to get yourself some gear. I think that's all I got. Enjoy the chat with Alan Stivelman. It's a gooder.
All right, tonight we've got Alan Stivelman with us. He's the director of an upcoming movie, kind of like a documentary, Witness of Another World. It's very, very interesting. We're going to get into this, and we'll also talk about his upcoming projects after this one as well. And thanks for getting up so early, 4 a.m. over there across the pond. Thanks, Alan.
No, thanks to you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We got, notification from your publicist and all that, and we've had like we talked about before, we've had Jacques Vallee on, and he's a big part of this film. Maybe you can do a quick synopsis, and then we can maybe delve into the past and how you got involved in all this.
Well, this is a movie about the life and the case of Juan Perez. He's actually a gaucho from Argentina, and when he was 12 years old, he was the main character of a close encounter. He witnessed a spectacular ship and two beings and had an encounter. And after that, he got really scared because of the consequences that he had after the contact, because he started to have premonition dreams, and it was a real nightmare for him. And the whole movie is about getting answers to him and try to help also.
Wow. And that was back in 78?
78, yes, indeed. Wow. And now he's 52.
And what is gaucho for people that aren't sure?
Gaucho, it's like it's people from the countryside, very tough people, very rough. It's like mestiz from indigenous and Spanish people. So it's like it's like a slang.
Right. Okay. So how did you take this whole project on? How did you get involved in it?
Well, the short, long story, it's like I was writing a script in 2012. I was doing like automatic writing.
Oh.
And I was writing about an abduction case from a couple. And when I realized that I was writing this kind of stuff, I said, like, why I'm writing this? And then I started to make some research about the UFO phenomenon, about the abduction phenomenon. By that time, I wasn't interested on the UFO phenomenon. My mainly focus was archaeology, ancient civilizations, and what is below Earth, and that's it. I never saw the UFO phenomenon as I wasn't being attracted by the UFO phenomenon because it was something more bizarre for me, more like vulgar because of because the way that Hollywood portrays the phenomenon. Yeah. It's really like, it's more like a joke rather than something serious.
Yep.
That was my thinking by that time.
Yeah. And until you did the automatic writing?
Yeah, I did this. I was like practicing my different kinds of writing, and by that time I was doing automatic writing, and then I finished 30 pages about this story, and this like research led me to buy a book. Wow. That was cases of abduction in Argentina. It was written by a psychiatrist, Dr. Nestor Berlanda, who is in the movie also. And when I was presenting my previous movie, my first one, it's called Humano. I was presenting it on a theater in Rosario. It's a city 4 hours away from Buenos Aires. And in that theater, Dr. Nestor Berlanda was one of the people from the audience. And I was having his book while I was speaking with the audience because I was reading that by that time. And he saw me and he felt that this is a synchronicity. This is not something by chance.
Wow.
We have to meet each other. We need to go and take a lunch. And the next day, while we were having a pizza, he started to talk about one of his most significant cases, that was Juan's case. And he showed me a small video of Juan when he was 18 years old. He was speaking to an audience, a UFO audience, trying to tell them like what happened to him. And then he broke down. He couldn't speak. I think that image is on the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's one of the earliest scenes in the movie. And when I saw that, I felt something really big inside of me because I felt that I was seeing something that was true. I was seeing like a trauma experience from a supernatural trauma that was inside of this young man. And I told to Dr. Nestor Berlanda, I want to meet that guy. Let's make it happen. And 4 months later, I was going to the countryside to meet Juan. And it was a great experience meeting him because he's really innocent. I saw pureness in his eye. And when he started to talk about his case, he broke down all again. He went into tears. And I was recording, but that time, and then I stopped recording. I just sat next to him and tried to see what happened. Also, if something from my end can help him. And 4 years later, now we were doing this amazing experience, this amazing film.
That's incredible. I had no idea that this started with such a synchronicity. I mean, we talk about that on our show all the time, and we've had so many authors and creators in here that have been spurred by this massive synchronicity in their life. I mean, and that's incredible. So you started the automatic writing and it led you to that theater and you met the guy, and then, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, the background of the story it's quite amazing. Also the experience of having Jacques Vallee was also a synchronicity. It's a movie that, well, at the beginning of the project, I wanted to make a UFO documentary about new theories of what we are dealing. I wanted to show Jacques Vallee theory primarily. But then suddenly, when we started to make this movie happen, we saw a broken man, and I couldn't make another thing that rather than help him, to put all our energy and see if we can help him to like integrate his experience that he had 40 years ago. It's 4 decades of loneliness, of sadness. He was living in a truly hell.
Wow, that's incredible. So this is one of the rare cases, like reading the synopsis and Jacques Vallee saying that I don't think this ever happened where there's been a 40-year gap between Vallee, because didn't Vallee first investigate that 40 years ago and then again now? So he has actually seen the reconnection and the change after 40 years, I guess.
Yes, indeed. He met Juan when he was 14 years old. It was a trip that he made with his wife.
Oh my God.
It was a really special and very emotional because Janine was a child psychologist and was one of the most significant cases for both of them. So
wow,
it was truly powerful to have Jacques Vallee again in Argentina because he was also closing some circles of his life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been emotional for both of them then.
Indeed it was. And also for me, the movie like touched some archetypes or some points that connect us to our own process, our own journey, because you will see that the movie goes from a very lonely place, once having this trauma, and then at the end of the movie you will see a transformed man, very open. His eyes are changed. He could now integrate that experience thanks to Jacques Vallee, thanks to Dr. Nestor Berlanda, a psychiatrist, and also 3 shamans that we gather into one big scene because I went to Paraguay. It's a country above Argentina. And because Juan's roots comes from that place. He has an ancestral Guarani lineage. The Guarani is an indigenous tribe from South America, one of the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there to ask them what they think about the UFO phenomenon, what they think about the abduction phenomenon.
And what did they say? How did that go? I mean, and was it to try and check if he had any ancestral connections at all with this phenomenon as well? Like, is it a lineage type thing?
Well said, because one of my questions before I make this project was if there is a connection between the lineage and the UFO phenomenon, and also if there is a connection between the afterlife and the UFO phenomenon also.
Yeah.
Because when Juan had a grandfather from the mother's side that was really important for him, and he passed away when he was 10 years old, and 2 years after he had this encounter. And when I went to Paraguay, I met 3 different shamans from the same culture, but different ethnicities. And one of them started to speak to me about the phenomenon as an holographic phenomenon that doesn't come from this dimension. And when he started to talk more about this thing, I started to realize that they were talking to me the same as Dr. Vallee explained the phenomenon in his book.
Mm-hmm.
So I had from one side the spiritual people, the spiritual knowledge that talks about the phenomenon as a divinity phenomenon, but that they come from another dimension. And from the other side, I had Jacques Vallee with all his theories talking about the same thing in another kind of language. And one of them, the elder Francisco, grandfather Francisco, talked to me about the idea of Juan, but that time he was 10 years old, and in an unconscious level, subconscious, he was trying to find himself. He was looking into his life, trying to get answers from why his grandfather died, what is death, what is life, who am I? And all these questions, he got an answer, but it was a supernatural answer. It was a UFO, 2 beings, premonition dreams after that contact, and he got the answer from the spiritual world, but he couldn't integrate. Probably in the terms of these people, he had an initiation, a shamanic initiation, but because of he hadn't a shaman, but that time he couldn't integrate, he couldn't bring all the pieces into one whole experience. But we continued the initiation 40 years after with our movie, with the process that we made in the movie.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So do you think then, is it like a bunch of different dimensions, or is it sort of like an underworld type? Like, I'm just wondering if the shamans are looking at it as there being a bunch of different dimensions, or is it more of like an underworld and our world sort of thing, or like a spirit world and our world sort of thing, where there's just maybe 2?
I don't know, because the other thing that they told me is that the idea of the phenomenon has two sides. Like, I think it was Sylvia, the wise woman, that speak to me about the idea that this phenomenon could come from the good side or the evil side.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't distinguish which side it is because it looks the same. But what is the tricky part? They had old chants that start to sing when this phenomenon appears into the community or to some people from this tribe, and they start to sing and to obligate that phenomenon to show the real side of this phenomenon, in order to they can tell if it's good or bad. So the message was, we shouldn't be like, if we see like a shiny thing or shiny phenomenon, we shouldn't be like, oh, this is God or this is spiritual guides or something like that, because the experience could be really, really, really bad. So the message was more like just to focus on that phenomenon. Don't be scared, move forward, obligate the phenomenon, like to confront the phenomenon. And this shaman gave Juan some chance to fight the phenomenon in order to not to be scared, because Juan was, when I met him, he was really, really scared. And he's a big guy, like 2 meters, quite big. And he was really, really frightened about the phenomenon, about these premonition dreams. When I met him, he felt that he was the only person in the world, or he knew that he was the only one that had this kind of experience. So that's why he seek refuge in the countryside and live like a monk between his animals.
Wow, that's amazing. I was thinking before we chatted, I was thinking about asking you about the phenomena in general, because we just had there's all these different groups, and they have different views of the UFO phenomenon in general. You have the groups that think it's altruistic and they're all good, and anything bad is part of the deep state or part of some sort of human project. And then you have the other people that think that they're good and bad. Like we just talked to this guy who's channeled a bunch of books, or we talked to his son recently, called The Allies of Humanity. And they warn also very similar, like there's good and bad, and you have to be careful, and you have to try and discern what it is, which is kind of, I think, what you're saying, and what the shaman and Sylvia is telling you. And then you have the people that think it's all demonic. I mean, there's all across the spectrum. So
yeah,
were they trying to teach you how to discern whether it's good or bad? Like, is it based on, like you said, it could come down and it could look the same, but it could be good or bad. So is it trying to figure out the intention behind it that would make it good or bad?
Yeah. If there is an intention, the bad ones wants to keep us like in a low level because they want our or something, I don't know. They can try. Sylvia told me that in ancient times, it was really easy to discern which belongs to where. But now, because of she told me that the planet is really weak, they don't have plenty of energy, so it's really hard for them to discern that, to try to discern the phenomenon on which side is who. So now they only have the chance, and they only have some small tools. But in the case of Juan, for example, we don't know what happened to him.
Yeah,
we don't know if he saw extraterrestrials from Mars, or he saw something from another dimension, or he was only having a vision or a dream. And you will see that in the movie, we don't try to analyze that topic.
Yeah.
Because it's a known end. It doesn't have an end.
Yeah. It's so subjective, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we only focus on the trauma, because Carl Jung, for example, said that the UFO phenomenon has 2 aspects, the physical and the psychological. And we only focus on the psychological aspect. We focus on the human aspect of the UFO phenomenon, that for me, it's one of them. It's the most important aspect, because we don't focus on what he saw, what were they, who are they, how was the ship, the size, etc. We try to focus on the trauma and to see if we can get some answers from that. And we did. We did get some answers, because we realized, for example, that when I met his mother, the mother of Juan, he confessed to me that she had similar experience when she was a teenager.
Wow.
And this was a secret, because Juan never knew that. So this is an information that was revealed only for me. And after that we did the movie, she opened and started to speak again to to Juan about this experience, because by that time when Juan was 12, everyone was telling him that he was mad, that he invented that experience. Also his relative, his mother, no one's believed to him. So it was a real nightmare living in that environment. So that's why he left away and lived by himself. But it was truly nice to see that his mother told me that experience, because then I started to realize that perhaps there is a connection between the ancestry and the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah.
And Juan now has like the ability to remember. He started to remember that he also had at least 2 other encounters, one when he was 40 years old and the other one when he was approximately 45 years old. But he now he remembers that because of he started to feel better, and he could now integrate that experience. And you won't see those experiences in the movie, because by that time we thought that he only had one experience.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. So it's funny. I was going to ask you about if part of the trauma or a lot of the trauma was due to not being able to be accepted or share his experiences, due to the ridicule or the rejection of it.
Well, it's a good question, because when I started to ask him about his case, it's not a traumatic case. There's no surgeries, there's no abduction, there's nothing wrong in the experience.
Yeah.
So I start to say, like, why he's like living in this hell, why he's crying a lot about what happened. And then I realized that the most bad thing, or the most the saddest part is that immediately after the encounter, he started to have these premonition dreams about death, about accidents, and some of them happened, and he couldn't stop them. So it was a real nightmare to see the accidents of some friends or some family that he couldn't stop. He told me that if he go to sleep and dreams in his right arm, he will enter into a dream that is more real than our reality. That's the way he described them, that it's more real than our reality. But if he dreams in his left side, he will go into a regular dream, a normal one. So he knows how to discern from one dream to another. And the good thing is that when I went to Paraguay, when I met those shamans, the way that the shamans from the Guarani shamans connect to the upper levels or to higher realms is thanks to the dreams. So in a way, the UFO phenomenon connect Juan to the Guarani gift, but he didn't know that.
Yeah.
He knew that after the movie or when we were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was did you say there was a 4-year period between when you met him and between like this whole healing process and the movie was over a few years? Yeah.
Yes, because I had to first to integrate what I experienced with Juan. For me, it was really difficult because it was the first time that I met like a contactee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to make some research. I read plenty of books from Jacques Vallee. I made like a list of books for the UFO phenomenon, from the extraterrestrial hypothesis to the multidimensional hypothesis to the skeptic ones. And I make a big salad, and then I start to make the movie because I felt that I was secured on going into this subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So what's your feeling about the overall phenomenon then? Do you have any notions now after you've made the movie, after you've, absorbed all the different aspects of the UFO field? I mean, it's changing dynamically now as we speak. There's, mainstream media is taking it more seriously. I mean, even just since your first initial meeting with him and today's date, everything has changed in the field.
Exactly. Well, for sure. I believe that we are not alone. There is something else for sure. I still don't know what we are dealing with, but I know that there is a connection between our consciousness and the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like really, really a really tight bond that I don't know why we had that. I met a Kabbalist 2 weeks ago, and we started to talk about the UFO phenomenon. And for them, they said, like, in the Kabbalah, it's really simple, because we know that the UFO phenomenon are the death ones. It's where we going, and they, in the death world, they have these kind of tools, I don't know, that can go into the material world, and they go into the spiritual world. But we don't have, in our reality, we don't have that kind of technology. So he told me that there is a simple connection between the afterlife and our life.
What do you think of that? I mean, is it?
So does that mean the aliens are dead relatives?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like that. That's lovely.
The answer. Yeah.
They show themselves in different like, depending on your consciousness, maybe. I mean, or depending on who knows what.
So they're just checking in on you.
So like that could be his grandpa who died a couple years before. That.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard to.
I like the idea that they have a technology
aspect to it.
Whereas we're using, I guess, stuff like meditation and psychedelics or different tricks like that you can sort of get a glimpse, but you don't really have any real handle on anything while you're there. Maybe one day we'll have a technology where you just like throw on the glasses and you're there, and you can throw on the ears and you can see him, and there's actually like 8 of us sitting around the table right now instead of 3 of us.
Yeah.
Indeed. This was for me the biggest question.
Yeah. I've never heard that before. That's I like that. I'm gonna run with that for a little while. So there is the good and the bad, the evil versus good. It's kind of subjective then, like you said. It shows up and it could be either or. It's the same as people. You get the same mix as you get with people. You never know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Huh.
So you better be careful out there, CSETian or CE5.
Yeah.
What's your take on the C5? Because this guy likes to go out on the weekends and try and summon UFOs. Do you think that's a good idea?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Not on my own. Like, we go out and we do the CE5, like Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, like coming from the old Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? The fifth kind is when you make contact yourself. So we go out and we meditate and we try and, through love and positive intention, try to see things, right, or make contact. And we I
don't think it's a good idea.
I agree.
Yeah.
So do you think? But it's okay to go look at the stars. That's okay. It's just you don't summon them, or should I just stay indoors?
But don't try to the whole idea that the shaman tried to explain is that you don't have to make a divinity from this light or from this object. You don't have to make a cult or a religion around this phenomenon.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel like you were? I mean, probably an obvious question, but that you were guided to write this, to do this movie? I mean, with the synchronicities and the automatic writing, like, do you have any theories about what would be behind that? Are you just connecting to a higher purpose or higher self, or?
I don't know. It was really scared for me because when I was living that experience and I started to realize all of this synchronicity, it was really scary because I felt like I was Truman Show.
Yeah.
In the Truman Show movie. Where's the camera?
Yeah.
Because there were too many, but I'm not feeling that there is a higher purpose, and just in the small view, I feel that when we do like good things, like try to help someone, the synchronicity will appear like magically because we are doing a good thing. And that was my choice when I decided to go into the healing process of one rather than try to explore about the UFO phenomenon, because there are plenty of documentaries out there trying to explain the UFO phenomenon from the conspiracy side, that the governments are like, how do you say, hiding?
The cover up.
Cover up, an extraterrestrial theory. But then I decided just to focus on the human aspect of the phenomenon, and I hope that plenty of documentaries tries to follow this vision, because we could help many people by doing this, because out there are plenty of Juan Perez in the world.
Yeah, we agree. Helping people, it's coming up all the time now on the show. Love and support and helping people. And I mean, that's a healing, like just opening up the dialogue with people, right, and sharing that. I mean, that's one thing that I think people are feeling more comfortable about telling their stories and without judgment and ridicule. And you don't have to know the answers. Like, you guys just put all that aside. Like, doesn't matter what the thing physically was or what the answer is or where they're from. It's just like, let's teach him how to, like the shaman said. I mean, I guess he has to fight through it, or at least approach the fear and deal with it and get through it, I guess.
It's the only way to deal with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Head on.
Just to sit and listen.
Yeah.
Because it's like just another form of trauma, really. It's just another flavor of trauma. I wonder what would happen if you gave him like a big old bag of mushrooms. I wonder if that would give you the same sort of
healing potential.
Potential is like, because I mean that's working for other forms of trauma, right? And autoimmune diseases and stuff like that. Did you come across anything like that?
Well, for example, Dr. Nestor Berlanda had a theory that these kind of people have higher levels of DMT in their brains.
Oh yeah.
They have like the ability to enter these conscious levels or realms, because they have plenty of more DMT like sensors than regular people.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree with that theory, because when I met Juan the first time, I felt that I was getting into this world just by sitting next to him. It was a really special meeting, because it was actually happening into my physique.
Yeah.
So it was really weird.
Like the goosebumps and all that, like you could feel it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's interesting. That's another interesting way to look at it, as being like different levels of, because I mean, there's definitely something there with the DMT and the nature of reality or consciousness, or I don't know what, but there's something going on there. And to think of that as different levels of that being different levels of reality, like maybe there's even like, that could be the like hierarchy of consciousness. So there's things that are below us because they're getting a like less drip of DMT. So that would mean that on a dose of DMT, you're probably going into that same realm that these people are able to navigate fluidly.
Yeah, and then he's getting his premonition dreams from it. Like he's able to have these. He's got supernatural powers now because of that access.
I'm gonna have to go back.
Yeah, Darren. The reason it's funny because Darren just tried it for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it's changed him quite a bit here.
Oh.
had almost like an ego death there, and Darren got torn apart into 1,000 pieces and put back together.
It's pretty scary. I didn't see any aliens though, but I'm gonna see if I can go back now and maybe have a better handle on things.
Well, but plenty of people told that they experienced seeing like UFO. There is a famous painter that it's called Pablo Amaringo, and he draw like paintings of UFO sightings when he tried when he had a ayahuasca experience. So for him, there is a connection between the ayahuasca world, the UFO, the elf, the fairies, etc.
Did the psychologist talk about how people might have more endogenous DMT at all? Did he have any theories about like why he might have more DMT, or how to, how to?
No, it's an interesting question, but he's in the early stage or on trying to make some tests among these people, but we don't know why he had like. Probably one of the answers could be after the encounter, his DMT like put him on a different level.
Yeah. Because,
for example, when we practiced the regressions to Juan, it wasn't like an hypnosis. It was like more like a relaxation process.
Yeah.
And 5 seconds after we said to Juan, like, you are going into your lost memory. You are now 12. He was suddenly 12 in just 1 second. And Dr. Nestor Berlanda told me that this kind of people goes into this relaxation mode in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It's different for me. For example, if he practiced on me regression, I will take an hour or 2, or maybe it won't be possible to get into my memories.
We've been talking about these yogis that use this method called the Kachari Mudra, where they can put their tongue up their nasal passage and lick their pineal gland and get DMT, like endogenous DMT that way. And I think it's possible. I mean, I think it's possible.
I think it's batshit crazy.
I'm still practicing. I'll let you know when I get there.
Let me know.
You can smoke it and I'll just lick it
at a bachelor party. That's interesting. I should try and get hypnotized again.
Yeah. See if it's any different. That's a good idea.
And you know what? Jason's a hypnotist.
There you go. Yeah. See, that's an interesting theory too. Huh. Can we talk about your other interest before we run out of time? Like the other book or the other movie that you're going to be making that's in, I mean, you went from all this ancient mystery and the inner earth. I don't know if it's inner earth or underground. I don't know what you call it, but and then you kind of went into this whole thing. But those are some more interesting topics that we talk about all the time here.
Well, I was doing this. I was involved in this project for more than 10 years because I wanted to have evidence about a lost mother civilization.
Wow.
That was settled mainly in America, because in South America we have the hardcore evidence that could like demonstrate that there was a hidden lost civilization. And then I went to the Andes to find this evidence in the Lake Titicaca.
Yep.
But when I went there, I met a shaman, and the shaman told me that before I can understand these things or the origin of men, I have to be human. And then I said, like, what do you mean? And then I did a movie called Humano, thanks to that answer, because I focused more on the human aspect again, try to understand who am I, rather than to get some answers about the origin of men. But now, 10 years after, I want to go into this movie it's about this lost civilization. It's about what is below Earth, mainly. because you had the East tradition, for example, from Tibet. They speak about the idea of Shambhala.
Yeah.
Shambhala is a lost city. And you find that in America, in the Andes, the shamans tells us the same thing, that there is an Andean Shambhala also. So we have these two ancestral knowledge that speaks about the same thing, that below Earth there is a center, a spiritual center, that it's connected to their fathers, or for example in the Andes, they call them as the Huiracochas. The Huiracochas were the ones who built Sacsayhuaman, Machu Picchu, for example. They know that the Incas didn't do that. The Incas, when the Incas chose up, the buildings were already there. But if I say this thing into the archaeology world, they will probably kill me, because it's established that the Incas did that, the Egyptians did the pyramids, and so on.
Yeah.
So the movie is more like a journey into different countries like Peru, Bolivia, Egypt, India, Tibet, and we go into this knowledge guided by Anselm Pirambla. It's an European researcher he was the first to try to prove the existence of this civilization by doing some excavation in the heart of Cusco, Peru.
Wow.
He found out that there was a tunnel of 2 kilometers between the Coricancha, the old Inca Temple of the Sun. Now is the Santo Domingo Church, because when the Spanish came to America, they built a church above old temples.
Yeah.
So below that church, there is a big tunnel of 2 kilometers that goes from this church to Sacsayhuaman, an old citadel, very, very, very big. But the good thing is that inside of this tunnel, there is a network of tunnels and chambers, and all the Inca treasure is there. But we don't know where these tunnels goes. The history and the legends told us that these tunnels goes into the heart of the Huiracochas, into the place of the Huiracochas, the old gods. And we have the same legend in the East, in Tibet, when they speaks us about the idea of Shambhala. So with the movie, we will try to bring all the pieces together into this big puzzle and see if we can try to explain about the idea that there was an old civilization, that we were never being alone, and what kind of connection there is with this old humanity and ours.
That's great. So those tunnels haven't been. It still amazes me that they haven't been explored all the way down. There's so many mysteries.
Said he went down that one with that dude that time and found all that stuff, and then they couldn't find it again.
Really?
And I always thought, he's probably just bullshitting. Honestly,
no, it's true.
But now this guy, he's talking about all these tunnels. I'm back on board. I owe Eric an apology. Sorry, Eric. I mean, he's got a whack of money in the bank. You don't give a fuck. But that's funny when you're talking about the churches and the temples. I was thinking like spreading democracy.
Yeah,
the original spreading democracy. Yeah. That's too bad.
I think I seem to remember other cultures having the same kind of inner earth or theory besides Shambhala. I read somewhere recently there's like 4 or 5 different versions of Shambhala.
What was that movie called again?
In India, sorry?
What was that movie called again?
My movie, the provisional title is The Secret of the Inner World.
Oh, it's not out yet?
Yeah, no, it's coming out.
Okay.
No.
When do you think you're going to come out with it?
I hope to start shooting next year.
Yeah.
I also invited Grant Hancock to be involved on my movie.
Nice.
I went to his house 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
in UK, and we discussed about the project, about the idea. He loved the idea, and now I'm waiting to his response in order to start like getting some meetings with producers. It's not easy to make movies. It's a pain in the ass, but it's in the other hand, it's like a drug because I cannot keep doing these things.
Yeah.
That's you should get Randall Carlson in on that.
Yeah.
Get him in on that. That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
That sounds great. We'll have to get you back on the show when you do that one for sure. That's like podcast too gets a little addictive.
Yeah. So what was the other? What was the Indian version of that Shambhala?
I cannot remember the name now.
But there is one, right? Like there's a few, and would that be like the contemporary mystery of the inner earth? Is that the same kind of thing?
The same thing of what, like the hollow earth?
Center, yeah. Well, not the hollow earth necessarily, but the inner earth, like is that the same thing?
Well, I don't know.
I'm kind of wondering.
No, I don't know. I think it's different
because there's those conspiracies about Antarctica, and there's pyramids there, and there's a passage down to the inner earth through there, and then some people connect that with the whole UFO mystery. And I mean, there's some really old ufology books that have the USOs, which is compelling evidence that there's an overlap here with the inner earth. Could be the reason for most of our UFO sightings as well. I mean, technologies from down there.
I'm picturing it more as like the inner earth is like Hades.
No.
So that's where that's where the dead people are.
No.
So that's like the spirit world, and they're taking their UFOs out through the ocean to come and check on us. Solved.
Could be. You don't know.
Probably not. But that's how I picture the inner earth more in that context, as being like the shadow world, being the spirit world, being not a physical place with tunnels like leading into like an inner earth, like a big caverns and like big civilization down there. Reptilians just rocking out. No,
I didn't say reptilians, but it could be. Oh, I didn't think it.
Anyway, I think of it more as like the same as we were talking before, like the spirit world or the shadow world or like the other earth. It's like the inside out.
Do you think it? So you don't think it's just an esoteric thing, or spiritual? It's physical, right?
Well, it's a hard question. I asked the same thing to Anselm Pirambla. He's also an expert in alchemy.
Yeah.
And his answer was that the answer is both, because there is a physical world, but also it's a spiritual world. Yeah. I don't know what happened below, but the shaman from the Andes, for example, this aspect, this subject is forbidden. They cannot go into the underground because it's forbidden by by the divinity.
Yeah.
But there is some legends that, for example, a person goes into that tunnel, go into this realm, and 50 years after goes up again and say, I'm still alive, because they have the tradition that below earth there is this city like this Shambhala that there you don't get older there.
Right. The time is different.
But they are legends. Yeah.
It's like moving at the speed of light.
It's amazing how many children's books as well, and how many real stories and mythologies we have about underground. I remember reading one in school called the World of Og, I think it was, and there's like just tunnels and worlds underneath the earth.
We should go check that shit out. We should do a contact at the tunnel.
Are you doing any like physical like exploration for this?
You need anyone to carry some gear?
Yeah. Do you need a Sherpa?
I'm part of the team of Anson that it's called the Boy Guru's Explorer. We are trying to get some funds, and as soon as we get them, we are going to dig into Sacsayhuaman to find those evidence. And that discovery is way much more important than the pyramids of Egypt.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tell what the real importance of this discoveries, but we are trying to get some millionaire and to try to help us, because it will be a really, really important discovery in archaeology.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, that would be incredible. There's so much we don't know.
Yeah. If you end up doing like a crowd fund or something like that, let us know and we'll make sure we'll push it as far as we can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is Antarctica part of that whole mystery, do you think?
I cannot answer that for sure, but I think it is.
Yeah.
But not the way as the conspiracy theories try to show us, in a different level, because also there are some legend and chronicles that speaks us about that the whole world is connected below Earth.
Wow. That would be an amazing discovery.
I used to think that when I was a kid. You know, I kind of just like go straight through to China. Bullshit.
Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, for me it's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know, what a fantastic story. I love the the part about you just letting all the the answers go and just help Juan. I mean, really looking forward to watching this and seeing and looking forward to your future projects. I mean, it just sounds amazing. I love the way you've been guided through synchronicity and I just find it just mind blowing.
Thank you, Ram. Well, it will be live on October 22nd.
Yeah, okay.
It will be released.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when this episode comes out in podcast form, we'll send a copy over and send you a link, and we'll put all this stuff in the show notes. Your link to the movie and all that, and some of the other stuff we talked about. And honestly, come back when you know what you're going to do with the crowdfunding. I mean, we had Graham Hancock on a couple months ago, and we've done a lot of these ancient mystery shows with people. So if you need to get back on the podcast with a couple people or talk about the crowdfunding, I mean, we'd love to support your next project and what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I mean, we probably can't realistically come carry your shit for you, but we got Grimericans all over the world, so maybe some of them would love to. If we told a couple of our listeners that are down there already that they could go chum around with you and Graham Hancock for a couple of days, and they just got to carry shit, they'd be all over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else? Where can our listeners track you down? Do you have a website? Any social media?
Oh, we have our official website is witnessofanotherworld.com, and Witness of Another World is also our Facebook fan page.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, we'll link that to that. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that was a great chat.
Thanks for getting up early or staying up late or however you work that out, but we appreciate it. Usually it's us that has to stay up till 3 a.m, so we appreciate you jumping on that grenade.
Thank you. I will go to sleep again now.
Yeah, good.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we hope you have sweet dreams. Usually it's like second sleep when you get to go lucid. So.
Sleep on your right side and see how it goes.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wow, that was our chat with Alan Stivelman. That was pretty shocking for me, man. That was awesome.
Pretty well off the C5 now. Are you ready to just give that shit up?
No. I'm like it's exactly what he said. It's like, just don't have any
So what if you're just in a bad neighborhood?
Like religious, don't have any religious,
What if we're in a rough neighborhood of space that day?
Well, you're traveling through. Yeah. We could be going through.
You're going through the gangs in New York, dead people.
Yeah. Like turning right off the bridge in Oakland by mistake or something like that. Yeah.
It's borderline.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the rough part of town. Well, I don't know. I got a different, I'm learning and I'm open to different things. I'm not going to be dogmatic about any of it, It'd be interesting to see what the experiences are the next time I go out, for sure, with a different,
You know what now? I'm trying to wonder if your health slide coincided with your C5.
No, I already told you what it's coincided with.
What was it again?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh. That's right. You started D&D and on all your.
It was exploring the inner world in Fantasyland. He's going to go do it on his own. I love it.
We'll go take improv classes.
Wouldn't that be great?
D&D. Oh, that'd be awesome.
If we could just
tunnels.
If we could just do this, go travel and look for tunnels.
All right, guys, we're going to South America for a couple of weeks, looking for tunnels.
Yeah, I would do that. Like just.
Well, and then we could get people to meet us.
Imagine finding the location to the inner Earth.
You find Diablo.
Not that I want to be like, I don't care about being the guy that found the location, but just to actually see it would be awesome.
You want to be the guy that gets to find it, but you don't need the notoriety.
No, I don't. No, I'll be like just.
You just want to just see it.
Yeah, I'll just be in line. I'd like to be in the first group. I want to be the lead guy.
Well, the lead guy always
scary.
gets killed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go up front.
Sneak
ahead. You go first. Mike will go up first.
I bet there's lots of entrances.
I know, that's the thing. Why haven't they been? Maybe that's part of the missing people thing. Is just like
split up. They just
like
go
there's
there.
got to be. We got to find an entrance.
That's where they go. There's actually entrances in the national parks too.
Exactly.
And all these people are just they go there and they're like, "Fuck Earth, man! This place is happening." It's just like a rave all the time.
Just constant,
people are dancing, good food.
Yeah. What if there's more people under the surface than there are on the surface?
Yeah.
It's just a great time down there.
Supposedly, there's more water down there.
No crime.
Like, think of all the oceans. Supposedly, there's twice as much water under the surface than on the surface.
Like you mean under what we know of as depth?
Yeah.
Like under that even? Because, I mean, imagine if you looked at the Earth and how deep the oceans are, it's probably only really on the surface level.
Under
that whole center. Under the crust. Yeah, that'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
It's all ones and zeros.
Phosphorescent, like glowing plants and light. Everybody's got
remember that old Final Fantasy movie?
Rave gear and like blue, the blue, what do you call it? That movie? Avatar.
Avatar?
Yeah.
So do you ever, talking about the C5 thing, you know that James Gilliland down at Gilliland Ranch?
Yeah. Is his mic on? Can you turn mic on?
He has the E-SETI. He has the E-SETI and they call people in.
Yeah.
So he has...
The lion guy. He calls him the lion dude.
He's developed a way of telling the difference between the good and the bad.
Oh, okay.
Right. He says this every single time.
The lion guy's got a problem with weed.
Read that. He says this every time that he calls them in.
Healing negative influences. Close your aura by seeing a white or gold light around you. Call in your guide or the many Christed ones and declare, we welcome all entities in love and light. We speak to you all from the Lord God of our being, telling you all you are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened, healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened, filled and surrounded. By the Christ light and the Christ love, we ask that the beautiful many to escort you in all your perfect place. Go in peace.
So basically, he calls in all the entities that are out there. And then he says, I envelop you in love and light. And if you don't like it, then the beautiful ones will take you to where you want to be, but you can't be here. So
you don't have to go home, but you can't.
So instead of trying to figure out who you're dealing with, he basically envelops. He says that all the bad ones will go away. As soon as you envelop everything in love and light, then they can't handle it. And so they leave.
Yeah.
And then whoever you're left with.
Well, that's kind of part of the CE5. I mean, that's kind of what we try and do, right?
Is it? Okay. I don't
not
know.
that in depth of a like a standard sort of prayer type thing, and we don't necessarily talk about Christ's love or Christ's light, but we do talk about it. Like we do our chakra clearing and love in our hearts and put out love and light, and it's all based on that intention.
I don't think he means the Jesus Christ.
No, I know. It's the Christ consciousness kind of thing
that was around much earlier than Jesus.
Yeah. It's like the Christ archetype in a way, not necessarily.
Totally. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the guy Christ was talking to when he ate the mushrooms.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that was a great chat.
That was fantastic. It was a sleeper one. I didn't know what it was going to be like, because you just don't know. And you meet these guys and they're fantastic, and their depths and their stories and their synchronicities and their experience and the interest in the mysteries that we talk about. Like, it blows me away.
We've been blessed.
Oh,
380 some shows, and we only got one sketchy one.
Did you post that?
We won't talk about it.
You're not going to talk about it.
Okay.
We can't.
I just said, well, that's not this great luck. That's like 0.25% fail rate. Yeah. That's a good boat.
And it might be salvageable still.
So.
Anyways, we can't talk about it.
Don't jinx yourself.
What? Don't change yourself?
Jinx.
Jinx? I thought it was Jinx Pickles these days. That's what my kids say, Jinx Pickles.
I wonder why that. What's pickles?
It's evolved.
Yeah.
Probably a cartoon. We don't know.
Probably. All right, guys. Big thanks to Alan Stivelman for coming on the show. Big thanks to Michael for joining us. Big thanks to you guys for listening. Even bigger thanks to those of you who support the show. We love the shit out of you. We wouldn't be here without you. We'd just be, I don't know, we'd be doing something else, but it wouldn't be as great as this. So support the show, Grimerica.ca/support. Up your karma. And thanks for listening. And we will see you next week.
Did good?
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
Grimerica. Sending out good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes.
Underneath breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection, and put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track, shivers or vibrations and stuff like that. Underneath breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection, and put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track, shivers or vibrations and stuff like that. Underneath breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection, and put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track, shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts. Grimerica/support.
Thank you.